What's up, internet people? You remember me, I think. I did a couple vlogs. I posted 2 at least. I didn't advertise them very well though, so you may not remember me. Anyways, I'm back. It's been about a month, and I'm having trouble coming up with real good reasons to be on film, which is why you haven't seen much more of me, all 2 followers. But I've been very busy in other ways. I am spending a ton of time on Instagram. You can follow me at DuckPilot on Instagram and Twitter, DuckNaked. And I just got back from a vacation where I probably posted, I don't know, 20 or 30 pictures. I'm trying to do at least a couple every day on Instagram, so I've been spending a lot more time on that social media medium. But anyways, I thought, hey, I gotta bust out the GoPro and do another vlog. So thought today would be as good a day as any, especially because I just got back from a nice long trip from New York City, which I thought was fantastic, and figured I'd fill everybody in on what that was all about. So, you know, there's always something to talk about, I suppose. But I'll start with my my trip. As I mentioned, just took a week of vacation. Today's my first day back to work, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Yeah, I went to New York City, got an apartment in Manhattan, Soho to be specific, south of Houston, not Houston, and stayed with my wife. My brother-in-law flew in, and one of the kids, Madison from Purdue, came and hung out with us, so had a fantastic time. For those of you who don't know me that well, I used to live in Chicago many years ago, almost 20 years ago. And I love living in the city. I was born and raised in California, Southern California. And unless you live right in the smack of downtown LA, you don't live in the city around here. I pretty much grew up in the suburbs. But living in Chicago was an awesome experience. And I just kind of realized that, heck, I really enjoy living in an urban environment. But, you know, life happened. Life got in the way. My then wife and I had a daughter and didn't think living in the city was a great thing at that time for raising a child, so we moved to the suburbs and eventually came back to California. But anyways, I always had kind of a soft spot in my heart for city living. So this is my second trip to New York City in the last year and a half, call it. I was there a summer and a half, 2 summers ago, which is about 18 months, to go watch the US Open with a few friends just for a long weekend. I think it was like a Thursday and Monday. And that was my first time there in probably 10 years, so I haven't spent a lot of time in New York, generally speaking, but twice in the last year and a half. So this time we stayed in Manhattan and just kind of did the full touristy thing. Went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art twice, because once wasn't clearly anywhere nearly enough, and actually 2 times wasn't enough either. Went to the Natural History Museum, didn't see any crazy nighttime shenanigans as in Night at the Museum. I didn't even see many of the characters from the movie other than the T-Rex, but still kind of a cool place to visit. Got into the Hayden Planetarium, didn't see a show there, didn't see Neil deGrasse Tyson, but saw some pretty cool stuff. Spent about 20 minutes with I guess as a volunteer, a docent or something there, talking about a giant meteorite that had been found outside of Portland, I think. He was pretty cool. Really loved his giant iron rock. So did that. Did the Tenement Museum tour, which is pretty interesting. I'd never even heard about it until we started making these plans. It's an old tenement building that had been salvaged and is now, I think, a National Historic Landmark. And you can do a tour. We actually did 2 tours. You do one tour, just kind of walk around the neighborhood to see some of how those folks lived their lives, or some of the original buildings are still there. Kind of show you sort of where things happened, so you get a better lay of the land. And then we did a tour of the actual building itself, where we got to see basically two different apartments that had been used by tenants in the tenement. I think growing back as far as the late 19th century, and then again the 20th century. So all in all, pretty cool time to see how people coming to America back in the day managed to live not in the best of conditions, that's for sure. And then what else? Oh, we saw Ellis Island and Statue of Liberty, Liberty Island. And Ellis Island was very cool. We did another tour there where we actually got to tour one of the hospital buildings. I think it was the infectious diseases wing of the hospital, if you will. And the cool part about it is it was a building that had been abandoned, I want to say the middle 50s. The whole site sort of shut down in the middle 50s and hadn't been reopened since. And they just started doing tours, this specific tour in October 2014, so just a few months. So there haven't been many people who have seen what I saw. You got to go into an actual hospital that looked untouched, as you would expect, since it was in fact untouched for 60 years, 70 years. And they did a little tour of, kind of they got to see the morgue, where it was a teaching hospital, so you got to see where it was actually like one of those old school amphitheaters where students could watch a body be dissected, basically. We got a tour of the kitchen, one of the kitchen facilities, cafeteria, a number of the rooms. It was very, very cool, mainly because they have done almost nothing to restore it since it was shut down. So it's like stepping back in time. So that was cool. Of course, Statue of Liberty, had to see that. That was also interesting and very cool. We didn't go up to the, as somebody called it in our party, the helmet, but we did get to walk around. Got a ton of good pictures. Took the ferry over from the Battery Park, I think it's called. So yeah, did a lot of cool things like that, and then just walked our asses off. My little my Garmin Vivo Pro walking pedometer thingamajigger registered. I was just a hair under 50 miles of walking for, let's see, we're there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 full days, plus the day we arrived and the day we left, which we didn't do much walking either of those 2 days. But 50 miles I walked in 5 days. That's 10 miles a day, basically. And it felt like it. Boy, one day I was, the nice thing about that was, because between the walking and the fact that we left really early the day we went out and didn't spend much time sleeping the night before getting packed, I never really suffered from jet lag. I think the first night there I was asleep about 10 o'clock. And I slept pretty well the whole time, like 7 to 9 hours. I think one day I actually slept for 10 hours. But that was cool. We rented an apartment on a quiet street, if you can imagine there's being such a thing. Crosby and Spring was our Crosby Street at Spring Street. Super quiet. Our apartment was off the street, so there was no sort of street noise to worry about. And there was somebody who was in the apartment above us. We could hear them walking in the mornings, but not much more than that. So it's generally very quiet, big space, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, plenty of room for everybody. We had a Starbucks right across the street from us, which I had visited daily, sometimes more than once. There was a Chipotle right around the corner. Never once went there, but I could have. The subway for the 456 line, or as I like to call it, the green line, was about, I think according to Google Maps, 100 yards away. So that opened up many, many opportunities. We did not get in a single cab the whole week we were there. Managed to get around basically by foot or by subway, other than the cab ride in and the Uber ride out to the airports. So the subway system was a key, being close to there. But in spite of that, we still did a boatload of walking. But I think I want to say I probably dropped about $80 in subway fares, but that's for me and Linda and Madison, and once in a while I bought my brother-in-law Tom a fare, and he bought some as well. So I think all told we probably spent about $140 in cab or subway fares, but that's a fraction of what we would have spent to move around on cabs. And it just, kind of illustrates the problems of living in LA. Coming back, we left 20-something degrees. It had snowed 3 inches or so the night before we left, and we got off the plane. It was like 72 and nice and gentle breeze, and everything was perfect. And that's why you live in California. But right now it's 4:52 on a Monday, and as you can probably tell from the camera, I am stuck in pretty bad traffic. Now, if you drove in Manhattan, it would be way worse than this. But because they have this awesome subway system, if I lived there, you wouldn't even have a car. There'd be no reason to have a car. It'd be too expensive to even own one. With parking, I saw one gas station the whole time I was there. So there's really no reason to have a car. And because they have this awesome mass transit system, which LA is trying to get, but will never quite equal, just because they got such an early start out there. It's just, I shake my head every time I hear people talk about how we don't need mass transit in LA. And if people only could go experience what a true, well-planned mass transit system can do for you, I think it would change a lot of minds. Maybe not, but that's my thinking. Anyways, the point was, I guess, we didn't use the cabs at all. Did go to see Jersey Boys, the show on Broadway, or just off Broadway, which was pretty cool. We got there by subway as well. I'm not a big musical fan. I've seen a couple of live shows in my life, none of which are musicals. I'm racking my brain, which is why I'm kind of stammering here. But anyways, I'm not a fan of musicals. Grease, I hate the movie. Footloose, not a big fan. Linda's always making fun of me for not liking these movies. But I actually enjoyed Jersey Boys. It was pretty cool. I knew them a lot, if not most of the songs, since it only I was alive for most of them, albeit as an infant to a very young child. But I was pretty amazed at how many really awesome songs these guys, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, actually wrote and sang. It was a pretty impressive library of work. But got to walk through Times Square after that. So we did all the really cool stuff. The one thing we didn't get to do, which I wish I would have, was to go to the top of the Empire State Building. We were going to instead go to the top of the Rock at Rockefeller Plaza, but that was the day it snowed, and there was a whiteout, so we never even made it up. The guy selling the tours talked us out of it because there's nothing to see. So that was probably the only thing on the list of things we wanted to do that we didn't do. I'm sure there's plenty of other things we could have done that we didn't do, but we did a lot. We did a lot, and we spent a lot of money. We ate a lot of good food. Saw a lot of really cool places. As I said, took a ton of pictures. Follow me on Instagram, Doug Pilot. You can see a lot of those pictures. I took the picture of the building where the Physical Graffiti album for Led Zeppelin's Physical Graffiti was shot. I got pictures of the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island. A ton of great graffiti shots. My brother-in-law took me on a little walking tour that showed me where many mob hits took place. Got to do a walking tour of a self-guided tour of Wall Street, so I saw the Bull and all that nonsense. So it was cool. We were there for St. Patrick's Day, which is kind of fun. It was a festive place. Although we didn't catch the parade, we were too busy at the Natural History Museum. Had lunch at the Boathouse, ate at Katz's Deli, all kinds of really cool stuff. So I had a great time. I highly recommend it. Airbnb for the accommodations. We did the Uber ride. Made good use of the Subway MTA Subway app. So my cell phone was probably as used as much as any has ever been. I think I'm right into the sun, and I know this because my battery would be drained by about 8 o'clock at night, whereas here it's a pretty rare day where I don't go to bed with at least 20% on the charge. So I don't know if that's just because you're in the city or you're sort of pinging out to the antennas a lot more, or because I was taking so many pictures and stuff, but definitely used my phone a lot and took advantage of smartphone technology. So if you're ever thinking about a place to go visit, I highly recommend it. Big thumbs up for New York City and Manhattan in particular. Didn't leave the island other than to come and go to and from the airports. I've been to Brooklyn, I've been to Queens, I've been to the Bronx, but there's plenty to do in Manhattan that you could spend 10 days here and never have to leave or feel like you need to leave. So anyways, good time, met some friends, had a lot of good food, but because of all that walking, I actually lost a pound, which is one of the truly best parts of the whole trip. But sadly, I'm back. First day of work was today. I had to leave early to go see the doctor, so that makes it a little bit better, but kind of back from vacation. That's the thing that sucks about vacations, is they have to come to an end. So it is what it is. We'll do another one someday soon. So I think that's good for now. Keeping it short and sweet. Hopefully do it all in one take, so I don't have to edit it much. And hopefully you guys get to see this and my following grows, and who knows, maybe in 2 months I'll be a sensation. If not, you can always find me on Instagram. All right, I'm checking out. Talk to you later.